So, okay, brother. Most men today are committing suicide. Most men today are depressed. What that means is there's basically no statistics that the weak man today is winning. There is no statistics that the modern man today is winning. So I decided to bring back 10 forgotten masculine habits or practices that we have forgotten. And here's the harsh truth, right? The more you practice being a man, the better man you become, the more traditional man you become. What that means is the modern man's way is not working for him, right? It makes him feel like an empty shell of himself. Now, if you know that you want to have that masculine shit, because trust me, I can guarantee you, your father did not teach you this, right? Your father may not have practiced any of the things on his board, but trust me, each and every single one of them will give you a rating on the masculinity scale. Now, these are things people don't talk about because these things are deep, right? Because it's not really about the practice, but it's about the energy you give to other people, about the energy people give back to you. Now, these same practices will get to what? Respect from others. We'll get to what? Relationships, quality relationships, and trust me, even help when you need it. The first one, and hey, by the way, a quick note, right? Everything on this board are things that my father practiced. My father did not exactly sit me down to teach me these things, but as time goes on, as I begin to peel back layers of things my father used to do, now there's some things here on this board that I am still trying to bring into my life, right? It's a matter of time. So yes, I'll tell you the ones that I'm currently practicing and how they have helped me. The first one says, stand up when you're greeting people or when you're shaking hands. That is a sign of respect. I can't tell you how many people I do that for, and they sound surprised when I can see you're walking to me to greet me. I stand up, I walk up to you, and I shake your hands firmly. I learned that thing from my father. Now, it was an unconscious pickup. The key thing here is, if you had space to observe your father, right, you notice that there are some manly traits. You know, most of our problems as men these days is the fact that we were raised by our mothers. Our fathers may have been there in the picture, but we were raised more by our mothers. We were closer to our mothers. And our fathers were supposed to separate us and give us that rite of passage to the masculine world, to the masculine energy, or masculine space. You get the point. So, but that did not happen, right? So, for me, I learned everything through observation. So when you sit down to shake people's hands, to you may feel like, okay, he would understand, but bro, it is disrespectful. It is heavily disrespectful. No matter who you're greeting, regardless of his status, my father will stand up, right? Stand up to shake his hands. If he's walking towards you, at least he will make that effort to stand up, take a step or two to show you that he's willing and open to greeting you. If my father does not stand up to greet you, it means that you have fucked up somewhere. And it's a sign that, bro, I don't fuck with you that much. Trust me, I have stories about this. The irony is, to be very, very frank, I never really knew the importance of this until someday when, the key thing here is, regardless of status, when one day a security guard was walking up to me, I stood up, left what I was doing, I went to greet him. He came back the night and was like, he has never in his entire life seen someone do that for him. But then it dawned on me that becoming a likable person is not about you doing it for women alone. It's about you it's about you just living that life of being a likable person, basically, right? So, brother, I'll tell you this, right? Stand up when you're greeting every single person or when you're shaking hands. Two, next one now is keeping your words. Keeping your words. Now, one thing my father used to do is, he would tell you, yeah, I promise I'll do it. And what I basically meant is, if he promised you, that is all that you need. You see, my father was a lawyer. He practiced as a lawyer, right? And it then made sense to me that if he tells you, my father used to act like there were cameras following him, right? And that's, if you really, really dig it, right, think about it. If not for the whole idea of contract backstabbing, we should live in a world where if I give you my word, I'm not taking that word back. What that means is you don't say what you cannot do, and you do everything that you say you're going to do. Because trust me, you see, coupled with this truth from Jordan Peterson that says, "Don't lie." Always say the truth, but at least don't lie. Bro, every single day I think of my father's principles. I am very, very grateful I had him in my life, right? So keeping your word, because trust me, and as I grow older, right, like this guy Miyamoto Musashi, when he says, "Always tell the truth," what that means is telling the truth talks about strength of being a man, right? You know that, bruv, this is his truth. Take me anywhere. And you see, that's the thing about masculinity, right? You might use any word to define masculine men, but you see, this keeping your word is one of the deepest things you can ever do as a man, and people never talk about, right? People talk about how you should play cool, you should dress a certain way, but bruv, if you cannot keep your word, take it from me. Since the dawn of history, men will not respect you. If you know you cannot keep your word, if you know that you rely on contracts to pass a message, if you know that without a contract, you have to, you're a shell of yourself, then trust me, people are not going to respect shit out of you. All right? The third thing here now is eye contact. Now, trust me, even with women, right? Even with women, right? I'll tell you this. One principle I came up with is, if I'm trying to get sex or relationship, sex from a woman, I never lie about a relationship. Now, the key thing here is I never lie. What that means is, no matter how attractive you are, no matter how beautiful I think you are, if I'm trying to hit it, I would never in my entire life lie that I'm trying to get into a relationship with you, because there are way too many stories I hear of guys faking to be in a relationship, right? And to them, that is their game strategy. See, you can play games without lying, trust me, but lying is a thing that there's all around the world. Every man, a weak man, a strong man will tell you, bro, keeping your word is attractive as fuck. And take it from me, women will respect you for it. The third thing that every man will respect you for and women will respect you for is keeping your eye contact. When you're talking to people, look into their eyes, whether it's man or it's woman, right? Because if you're talking to men and your eyes are not on their own eyes, it shows that they dominate you. But when you keep your eye in a very soft manner to their own eyes, it shows respect. It shows that you're mentally tough. To an extent, you're mentally tough, right? You're mentally strong. You see, because trust me, you see, we live in a world where every guy is avoiding eye contact on different levels. So when you're talking to a man, once in a while, look into his eyes. For women, stare into their eyes continuously, right? And as for guys, look around, because I'm a guy who likes to observe, right? So guys, it's okay to observe. When you observe once in a while, eye contact. When you shake their hands, full eye contact. You see, speaking of eye contact, right? I came to realize something. Now, in my story, I was heavily bullied. And somewhere in my story, I was a bully, so I'm not here to claim to be a saint. But one thing that I come to realize is, outside of the school environment, bullying still exists. But one way to deter a bully is before he bullies you, is before he attempts to bully you. And one thing I've realized is, if you can give him a very calm stare in his eyes, right? All those is bullying tactics. Because trust me, even in the business world, there are bullies, right? So what that means is, even if you have escaped high school and university, there are always and there would always be bullies. Give everyone eye contact. At least it makes the person realize that, okay, you do not fear his eyes. And trust me, the eyes are the gateway to the soul. Something I have learned from life, right? Then, now, the first one is dressing for a purpose. Now, yeah, this one, dressing for a purpose. Now, this is something that I am still learning, right? Because to be very, very frank, like I said, so all the things that are on the board, my father did not sit me down to teach me all these things. These are things that I learned through observation. And trust me, as kids, we learn through observations. We learn by soaking up things in our heads. Some things that I learned by observing him, obviously I still have some feminine ideas in my head, thanks to feminism that push trash in my head. But over time, we're getting rid of those stuff from our childhood. Don't worry, trust me. It's not a day journey, it's a life journey. So dressing with purpose, right? You see, I used to be that guy who just shows up in whatever he wants to show up in, right? There's almost never intention in what I'm dressing. And these days, when I began to have very, very specific intention on how I show up anywhere, trust me, it has been a game changer, right? Now, there are times when I dress in a way that I really, really don't care. The only is, don't worry, there are reasons for that in my vlog. I'm not going into that because it may distract us from the video today. So, dressing with purpose, my father used to wear suits almost everywhere he went to, right? The only places he did not wear suits was the church and some parties, right? Every other place, he wore a suit. To me, I felt like it was doing too much, but still, that showed discipline, right? It showed class. It showed respect. And to be very, very frank, do I want to wear a suit? I don't think I want to wear a suit. But the point is, anywhere you are showing up to, dress with a purpose. If you are going for a date, one thing, even I think there's a date I went for recently, right? I kind of dressed up. And till this day, that's the babe that shows me respect. Like, we didn't date, right? We got to do our stuff, but that babe till today give me respect. I did that as an experiment. So trust me, the next date you're going for, dress up and see what happens. It makes you stand. It makes you stand out. Now, to be very frank, I have a couple of suits, but I'm not really a suits guy, right? But if you ask for it, if I feel like, you know what, I want to dress up, I want to pass a message, I will dress up, because trust me, yep, dressing up to occasions where they don't expect you to is very interesting. And by the way, even though I'm going to a store, even if I'm going for a walk, I've just learned the fuck to dress up, because people would address you based on how they see you. Now, like I said, there are times when I intentionally dress down, intentionally, because we live in Nigeria. It's more about a security reason than a principled reason. That's the reason why I dress down sometimes. So I live in Nigeria, right? So 2 is 5 is own your space. This has to do more with like your posture, right? When you walk into a room, right? How do you walk into the room? I keep telling people that, you see, where I'm going, the next one I'm going to, I keep telling people that this is how people size you up, with the way you walk, with the way you talk, with your posture. If you're somebody who poses with his shoulders slouched, bro, you have a problem. Because again, men will pick up on you, and men will kind of like bully you for it. You see, one thing about the modern man is he thinks we live in a world without bullies, we live in a safe world. Simply because, to some extent, we're kind of like secure, we have food to eat, we have businesses to run. But bro, that is not reality. You see, people will size you up from the way you sit, right? From the way you walk, from the way you, even talking to people and keeping your hands in your pockets, right? Very disrespectful, right? Talking to people and your hands are like this. It depends on context, your posture. You see, if you don't have the right posture in the right environment, you will be misunderstood, right? Sometimes your posture can basically invite people to bully you. If you're talking to women, your posture tells her a lot about you. If you're enjoying the conversation, if you want to fuck off the conversation, if you're shy, if you're timid, everything shows up in your posture. So own your space, have the right posture. The best posture is what? Your shoulders back, right, and your chin up. Best posture, right? It signals that, one, you're confident. You move incredibly, and everybody should kind of like give you accolades. Right? 6 now is, now this one is very, very important, right? Because we live in a world where the real masculine men, right, they don't have the microphones to speak. They are out there in the real world doing real things, so they barely speak with the microphone. So protective instinct is where I'm going to, is what I'm referring to as alpha energy. You see, everyone talks about alpha or beta males, but nobody fucking talks about the fact that alpha males have what is called protective instincts. No one talks about that. Everyone talks about, oh, the alpha male gets a lot of women. They never realize that the alpha male, for him to remain the alpha male, for him to make sure everybody is good, he has to protect everybody. Or else, it's a matter of time before he's removed out of there. So the alpha male is not this dude who just has strength, who just has women. No, he has good judgment. He's taking care of people physically, mentally. He's looking out for the needy, right? Now, for context, how did my father display his alpha nature, right? He ran the business and he took care of a lot of people in the community. Extra context is, where we lived is not where we are from. What that means is, we migrated from a different place to where we lived. So what that means is, well, where we lived, that is a region and place of the country, apart from the fact that we lived with a different ethnic group, the ethnic group where we lived, which is Yorubas, they awarded my father for how much he did for the community. And that made me realize that is alpha energy right there. So alpha energy is not about how much women you can sleep with. The women you're sleeping with is a byproduct of having the alpha energy. The real deal is being able to protect people. Is being able to stand up for people that really need your help. 7, respecting your elders. Oh my God. You see, if you watch my videos, one of the best advice I give to young men that always works. This advice works without failures. Have mentors. Again, regardless of status, because every man you're looking at that's older than you, besides a man that has something you're looking for, has experiences that can give you for life shortcuts. Basically, every single man that's older than you has experiences you don't have as a man, right? So what that means is, as a man, respect every single older person you see. One, two is your elders, right, are your mentors. So seek mentors, right? And when you see them, respect them with everything. Now, again, I put here respect elders regardless of their status. Now, this has to do, again, mentors or no mentors. Respect your elders regardless, because there are things that they know that you do not know, right? And trust me, almost every advice will help you. And that reminds me of Jordan Peterson's advice when I was growing up. He says, act like the person you're speaking with knows something that you don't know. Do you hear that? Listen, so not act, listen or act like the person you're speaking with knows something that you do not know. This is some deep shit, right? Because trust me, when you begin to practice this, and begin to have mentors in your life, because you just cannot just respect your mentor older than you and then disrespect somebody else that doesn't have status. It will show, right? Your mentor will see you as trash. It's going to show your character. Everything here I'm talking about today is about you building a character, building the masculine character, right? So if you respect your mentors, definitely you have to respect the other people who are older than you but are not also your mentors at the same time. 8, a firm handshake. I think I've spoken about this, right? So I had noticed that my father, when my father shakes my hand, right, I kind of felt that pressure. So when I got into like school, university, whenever I shake the hands of guys, their hands are like very, very feeble, very, very weak. Some guys used to feel very, very irritated with the way I shook their hand. Now, I'm not asking you to go and break their fingers. My point is, when you shake somebody's hand, if it is not firm, it feels like, again, people judge you based on the fucking handshake. You may say, oh, it's just a handshake, but people judge you for it. Now, when you're shaking the hands of a lady, you have to be soft. But when you're shaking the hands of a guy, adding that slight pressure, and again, with eye contact, makes him realize that, okay, fine, this guy has that energy. So people don't realize that masculine energy, right, or masculinity starts with your energy, not by your dressing, not by your muscles. It starts with the energy. There are guys, right? There are guys who may not have muscles as big as some people, right? Again, by the way, having excess muscles is complete BS. It has been misunderstood. It's like girls with BBLs thinking that the bigger their BBL, the moment they attract. It's complete BS. When you have a firm handshake, with paired with good eye contact, it sends a signal that you have the masculine energy. Trust me. Even though you're currently a weak man, the next person you shake, give a firm handshake. Now, I'm not saying you should break their fingers, but give a handshake that you know is very manly. And trust me, at first, you're going to have to be very intentional about this. You can't do it in a haphazard manner. So please, be very, very intentional with your handshake. Make it firm, don't make it shaky or flaky. And there's this gay thing I see guys do where, at first in university, there's this dude where I tried to shake his hand, and then he touched the middle of my finger and I let it slide down while I tried to grip his hand. Shit, that shit is gay as fuck, feminine as fuck. 9 is a brotherhood. We have lost the art of a brotherhood, right? We have lost the fact that we do not have a space for men to come together to become men, right? Almost every physical space has been dominated to an extent, allowing women to come in. So guess what? Men don't really have men that they bounce off ideas with. I said today, if they want to stop male loneliness, right, or they want to help men's mental health, give men a purpose alongside a brotherhood. That is all a man needs. So whenever I see guys, right, they have the brotherhood, they betray the brotherhood. It pisses me off. It pains me deeply, right? How do guys betray the brotherhood? But they'll get into a relationship. They will stop doing the things that they used to do with the brothers, right? They barely go. Now, mind you, when I mean the brothers, it does not mean that it's your blood brother, right? They could be people who you share the same values and beliefs with. These guys, they are beyond friends, right? These are people who, when shit hits the fan, these are guys you call up, right? So your brotherhood can come from anywhere, your school, your dojo, your gym. At your point, these are guys that they have the same character. They have the same energy. They have the same principles, beliefs, and values, just like you, right? So again, we have lost the art of having the brotherhood, like the actual brotherhood. By the way, my community is coming up very, very soon. So expect that very, very soon because, like I've said, we need a space for men to be men, right? Let's be honest, right? They've called our spaces toxic. But how much progress have men made these days without a brotherhood, right? Most men are lost. Most men are depressed. But like I said, if you give men a purpose and a brotherhood, the energy is very different. 6, keeping your cool or keeping calm under pressure. You see, one thing I learned from my father is if or when he's sick, nobody will know jack shit. We don't know. You will not know until it's time to be probably admitted. You don't know. You see, and that made me realize that it's not about faking it, it's about sending a message to people, right? It's about stoicism, it's about staying calm, staying clear-headed, right? When shit hits the fan, he's thinking. He's not carrying his problems to people, and that's something that I respected my father for. He had problems. But trust me, he never gave it to people, right? Because the more problems you can solve for yourself, the tougher you become as a man. We now live in a world where we are telling guys to open up. But the guys who open up, what happened to them? What happened to them? They get laughed at. So my father may not have told me this. I could tell that, but this guy was going through shit, right? This guy, I could tell you by midnight, he was awake, brainstorming. How I know in the morning, almost every morning he comes, he has a list of ideas he's executing, one after the other, right? So he's executing his ideas to get results. So, bro, there is nothing more manly than that, right? Where you're under pressure, you're calm. You're calm because when you are tensed, you don't think very well. 2, when you're tensed or you look tensed, right? Again, when you're tensed, you obviously look tensed. People will begin to see cracks in your character. But when you stay, again, everything I'm talking about today, this again comes from fighting, right? When you're fighting, when you are sparring somebody, because I've not been in a real fight yet, it's been sparring and light sparring, different levels of sparring. When you're sparring, right, you're under a form of pressure. Now, when you're under this form of pressure, you have to be very careful to never show weakness. You are never ever supposed to show weakness while you're fighting, while you're under pressure, So brother, learn to stay calm. This is what stoicism preaches, right? It's not about, even if anybody does shit to you, your ability to stay calm is a masculine thing, right? Laugh it off, play it cool, and trust me again, every single thing I'm telling you here, if you practice them, right, no matter how feminine you are, if you make that intention to become masculine, you want to have that masculine energy, right? If you practice everything intentionally, your energy shift is going to be different, right? You will see yourself doing more masculine things. You see yourself having more masculine principles, right? And before you know it, guess what you get? You get respect from other men, respect from men, and what? You get what? Desire from women. Yeah, because women act more based on the energy they give to you, right? Women act based on energy you give to them than your appearance. What that means is when the woman has walked into your life, right? Can you keep up the masculine frame? Because everything here, like I said, will give you that masculine shift as a man. If any of the ideas in this video resonated with you, I'd like you to please share with a brother who you know find it helpful. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. And bye for now, brother.